Hey YouTube, ASH26, part 6 of the flap install. Alright, so we were just talking about shims that we were going to use in here. And I had this synthetic shim. Got a little chunk here. We're going to try this first. Now this stuff cuts pretty easy. It's not the lightest material that you could use, but I think it's going to work okay because we're not going to need hardly any of it. And it has a nice taper to it. So I'm just going to, believe it or not, I'm just going to cut it with these scissors. Now this will have to scuff up really good. You could just use plastic. You wouldn't have to use balsa. You can use balsa if you want. Balsa is probably going to be lighter, but it's also going to not resist as much as something like this would. See, now I've got two of these pieces, and they've got that taper together. I'm just going to drop them in there and see how smooth we are now. So we're really pretty close. Doesn't look like we have quite enough of an angle. That may not be worth using. I don't know if I like that. I don't think it's enough. I think we'll make it a little more angle further back. So we'll just try going a little further back. If at first you don't succeed, keep trying for another 6 hours and you'll have one of my video series. Just kidding, guys. Hilarious, I know. Alright, so we got this small amount of taper in it. Okay. See, we're not looking to take up 100% of the gap. We're looking to take up most of the gap. So maybe one of each might be the way to do that. I'm going to trim that thinner portion. Okay, so we got that there. Now I could put a little more glue on the one side too. And that's held down in there. Looks like we're actually a little bit too high at the nose there. Which honestly is not a huge deal. I could just trim this a little bit. Like that. I just, and we gotta leave that little edge so that everything can drop down in there nicely. That's pretty awesome right there. Then our 3M tape will actually be applied to the bottom and potentially the top. That's why I'm wondering, I wonder if I even need both of these pieces, because by the time you throw a 3M tape on either side of this, it's going to be pretty thick. So I'll leave that there, and this here, we're going to take and score this up for texture. So I'm going to put it down on the table, knowing which direction is forward by making an arrow. And then we're going to completely destroy the arrow, so we're probably going to have to mark this again. Okay, so we know which way forward is. Up and down shouldn't matter. Alright, so we have texture now. We need to put texture on this too. Oh yeah, that's gonna, I bet that's gonna work. Okay, so now, in that case, we'll just leave this over here for now. So now I need to take, and I need holes in this. And the holes I need are going to be centrally located, just shy of this mark and shy of that mark. But I want it to be wide enough so that we get the whole opening. In case we'd ever gain a channel or something like that, we want to do more with this. Okay, so this drill bit is wide enough, but not too wide. I think we're going to go with that. Just going to throw it in the drill. Now, need a little something to drill into. That's not the bench. Okay, one hole. 2 holes. Now we complete the 2 holes together by cutting them together. And let's double check our opening size. Oh yeah, that's just about as perfect as you can get there. So now I need to decide if I'm going to use the X-Acto knife or the Dremel style tool. I don't know. I'll probably just try the X-Acto knife first. Got it scored. Well, it's super easy to cut this with an X-Acto knife, but I'm afraid I'm going to screw things up if I go this way. I think that's kind of rough on the plastic cover. I'm not crazy about that, so we'll try folding this the rest of the way. To fold it out. Yes. Now you could probably clean that up a little bit more if you wanted, but I'm not 100% sure I care. So now the underside of this is going to be the smooth side here, so we're going to score that up now. And we know about where we need to score it up. So we'll just try to localize that scoring to the area needed to have bond. Okay. It's amazing how much texture will add to the grip. Just those 2 dry plastic pieces that I stuck together, the shim and the back of the servo over there, it's like night and day different how much they hold on now, just from the texture. It's crazy. Okay, so now we have to think for a second, guys. If we're going to take and drill that in, I think we're pretty much satisfied on where it's going to be. Now we can always take the screws out and everything, and we got to get our screw in to locate that lever. So why don't we grab that screw real quick. Okay. There we go. This one. Those little dinky ones. Alright, so the other thing is we need to test the sweep at some point, so got a screwdriver here. That guy's ready. And we're not going to glue in the top at all, so we can leave that label on this Emax servo. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so we can come back to that later if we need to. Oh shoot, did I just screw the pooch on that or what? I gotta feed this thing back through there, so I may have to take that apart just right away anyway. But what came first, the chicken or the egg, folks? I'm getting to that point in the game where it's like, what's the best next step? I don't know. there's a million ways to skin this cat, you know. So at this point, skinning this cat is going to consist of probably drilling 2 holes to receive the screws that are going to go into the thingy mabobber. Now the screws I used are not necessarily identical. They're really close. But I suppose I ought to probably go ahead and use the screws that came with the kit if I can for this. So in order to double check by sizing, I'm going to do this. Hold the shaft right up next to the... That's going to cut a little bit more material. Since this is such a soft wood, I'm going to probably go with an even smaller drill. Let's see. That's about half the size of the shaft. That's probably what I want, actually, though. Because this, like I said, this is really soft here. Now, when I did that, I went through to where I felt pressure on my finger, but I don't know if I penetrated out of the monocoat or not. The other thing is I plan to take this off now and scrape any sort of CA off of here, even though I'm going to CA it back on in like 30 seconds. Okay? I want to start from clean, but I figured if I marked it with a marker, the CA would just come out with the mark. Okay? Oh yeah, she came off in 2 pieces, it looks like. Got one more little piece to get, hopefully. Yep, came off in 1 piece. Okay, so now, since we are going to depend on the CA for a portion of the hold, we'll go ahead and put a little texture on this. Cool. So now the other thing I'm not crazy about on this system is that tail I made on this runs into stuff and it causes problems. We're going to correct that right now before we continue. So use safety glasses. Grab this doohickey. Okay, now that that's cut, we're going to just double check for sharpness. Feels decent, but I'm going to still take it and sand just a little bit. It's hard to tell when it's hot. You just try to be a little quicker with your touch, you know. That's good enough for what we're doing, I think. I got a little little piece on there I want to take off. That's good enough. Okay, now it feels pretty smooth. Okay, cool. So now at this point, we know which way this needs to set. We know where this needs to go, so we can slide that over. We know that we need this ready to go, and that's going to stick down straight to the thing, so we might as well go ahead and get some 3M going on. But before we do that, we're going to be smart fellers, not fart smellers. And we're gonna use some alcohol to clean it, not to drink it. Jeez, guys, come on. We're gonna clean it right there and right here, right there, and then we're gonna clean it right there. Some of the mold release that's used on these plastics is just crazy slick. So it's usually a good idea when dealing with tape like this 3M double-sided tape stuff, to just clean the surface really good. It's not an yeah, I mean, you can take this stuff apart if you feel like it. That's why I like it so much, because of my complete and utter fear of commitment, even though I was married at 20. Alright, here we go, guys. Right there. Stick it on there. Give it some pressure. Push hard enough, you'll get a diamond. Yes. Yes. Come on. Double-sided tape my butt. Look at that. It's already peeling off. What a turd. Okay, so we've got that. Forward goes forward. We know which way forward is, so we're going to apply this, but only gentle compression there. And then we're going to repeat the same exact process. Except this time I think I might have cut a little too thin. Sounds crazy, but I'm going to go back for another cut. I'm sorry. 3M tape, I don't mean to waste you. Yes, better. I thought I've done it again. Now I'm not going to push super hard on this either. Now, if a guy were motivated to do so, and when I say guy, I use the term interchangeable. You can be a girl, you can be a guy, you can be whatever you want to be. I don't care if you're building airplanes. So, you could also stick a piece on the back here or on the face here. And that probably wouldn't be a bad idea, but let's be honest, guys. Where's the pressure going to be? The pressure is going to be on the front. We already know that from testing earlier. So let's go ahead and get this off. And, come on. Are you kidding me? That cannot be the best we're going to get for a stick. We're going to have to redo that, guys. That was not near enough pressure. And if it sticks that bad, it might be because of the material that I so intelligently picked. Okay, trim it down. Okay, so round 2, let's try it again. I guess I never really pressed it hard either, guys. Maybe that's part of it. I bet that's what it is. It's got to be. Yes. Yes. Round 2 went better than round 1. Awesome. Okay, so now let's very carefully get that located where we need it, which is in the hole. And then let's put our servo back to where it needs to be. Feed this in the correct orientation, which is this orientation here. It's just a little teeny bit of twist in there. I want that twist out, so I'm literally just going to spin it. Am I hitting? I don't think I am. Okay, so that little bit of twist is not a big deal because we're going to put a little CA in there and get a little bit more glue surface area here. So obviously you guys can tell what's going to be next, and that's going to be to peel off all this protective stuff here because we want that gone. Now I don't want you guys to think that it's so dang hard to put these flaps in, because it's not that hard. It's kind of hard to film it, but doing this process is more of a time-consuming thing than a hard thing, you know. Why do I have this drill in the middle there? That's kind of a stupid spot for it. So now let's look at this. Okay, let's make sure that we can get that sandwiched in there nicely. Okay, I think it's going to suck down nice and tight like a tiger. Oh, that looks gorgeous. Looks good. Where's our little fancy dancy adapter? There it is. This one's got the texture on it already. Awesome. One more axis of texture. Axes. Now we know where that's going to go, but it would be probably a good, prudent idea to try this. Just like so. Just like so, guys. That's perfect. Okay, so now I can actually mark my holes, except I'm probably going to have to instead just go straight for the drill. This is a very scary moment. There's been many of them throughout this project. Now, the other thing is we do need to CA this in a little bit, okay? Just a little bit like that. Be nice. Don't use too much kicker. Kicker will cause problems for you in this area, okay? And just bond it in a couple of different spots. Like I said, be very sparing with your kicker, okay? Because the kicker will break down the adhesive in the 3M double-sided tape potentially. And you don't want to do that, okay? So just go like this. Make a bridge. This is medium CA. Nothing special about it. It's not foam safe or anything. Let the kicker do its work. Then go in for round 2. Just like so. Just like that, guys. And if you want to make it stronger without making it a lot more work, throw a little cotton in there and it will be very strong. Or like this, you can do a little piece of paper towel. You probably think, man, he's just pulling stuff out of his butt today. Nope, I'm not, I promise. Okay, let's say you want to hold down this area on the front because it's the most vulnerable, right? Because it is. And you do want to, right? Let's say you do. So you want to make sure that's going to fit, which it is. You're going to put down some glue, a nice thick layer of it. And you're going to just plop this SOB right in there. Push it in with something. It isn't going to stick super easy. Wrap the corner if you need to. Just like that. It's very simple. It's very effective. You'd be amazed how well this works. It's like fiberglass. Okay? I've done this many times and it works really nice. Okay? And kicker. Remember, don't go too nuts on the kicker on this. But I'm telling you, that will be extremely strong. You're going to have a hard time getting this off now. So now we're just going to let that sit for just a second. I'm just thinking to myself, the next step is going to be to drill that thing in once the CA is all set up. Oh, except we need to also CA that end on. Okay, so you see, I didn't put anything here. Now, why didn't I do that? Because that side's tight. Okay? So you get a really tight fit there. on the front, the most vulnerable spot. That's going to work nicely, I think. Cool. So now we can get this repositioned, verify all of our angles. We can take 2 screws, preferably the correct ones. And the correct ones can be inserted right into the pre-drilled holes. Try to get them in there as straight as you can, because you want to go into the thickest portion of the wing if you can. If you have a little penetration through the other side, that's just life in the big city, and you'll have to put that plastic backer on there, which would be ideal, but I don't think we're going to reach far enough with these particular screws. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start these screws, and then I'm going to use kicker and CA on the flats, and then a little bit on the threads. Because this side I don't want to come off. This side is removable. That's gorgeous, guys. Totally gorgeous. It's still hot on here from that CA. That's curing. That's so cool. Alright, very nice. Okay, so now I'm satisfied with that, so let's go ahead and get the drill. Throw in the other 4 screws. Try not to hit your own control wires. It'll ruin your day every time you try it. I'm not 100% sure. Yes, I got it that time. Okay, so now that I have 2 in there, I'm going to do it the nice tedious way, the tedious way that gets it done right. I'm going to start with the 1. And then I'm going to continue. The reason it's tedious is because I don't have all of them done yet. Now, watch what I do, guys. This is not poor man's Loctite. This is called the correct Loctite. If you try to use Loctite on plastic that's this size, you will break down the plastic. I'm giving you the 98% guarantee. Okay? It's happened to me. I destroyed 2 props, spinners, on my Consendo learning that in a row. I was not happy that afternoon. Ooh, what did I do? See? I got a problem, guys. That's not good. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. We're just tight. Toit like a toiga. That'll suck down tight. That's okay then. See? I can live with that. I just hope it holds as tight as I would like it to. Now, before we continue, let's pull this screw out about 3/4 of the way. 1 drip of CA on the threads only, preferably not into the actual plastic there. Get that down in there. And you're going to get a little bit on the plastic, that's just part of it. Can't really get away from that totally. So now while we're at it, we've got things secured. Go to the middle setting, so we got a little bit of a tip there. Okay, so this one's not going to give us that flexibility. Guys, we're about to run out of time. I'm going to tighten these screws. It's not really rocket science. But I'm out of time for today. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Don't forget to come back. Like and subscribe. Look how awesome that looks, guys. Crow and flaps and all that good stuff. Didn't even lose the channel. Thanks for watching. Part 7 coming soon.